Ladies and gentlemen, boxing just got turned upside down. Terence "Bud" Crawford walked into the ring with Canelo Alvarez, a man who's been untouchable at super middleweight, a four-division champion, the sport's cash cow, and Crawford made him look, well, mortal. Not just beat him, not just edge him, he dismantled him. And you know what? I told you Canelo doesn't look the same when he's the one chasing. Tonight, that prediction didn't just come true, it came alive in front of 70,000 stunned fans in Vegas and millions around the world. Let's look at how he did it. Here's the backdrop. Canelo Alvarez, 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, defending his undisputed crown at 168 pounds, the face of boxing. Terence Crawford, undefeated, 41 wins, no losses coming in, already undisputed at welterweight, daring to move up 2 divisions to take on the bigger man. This was legacy versus history. Canelo wanted to prove he's still the king of the mountain. Crawford wanted to become the first male fighter in the 4-belt era to be undisputed in 3 different divisions. The odds said Canelo, the size said Canelo, but the footwork, the IQ, the adaptability, that screamed Crawford. Round 1 was classic, feeling out. Canelo pressing, trying to establish that left hook to the body. Crawford calm, measured, already circling, already showing him angles. Rounds 2 to 4, Canelo looked competitive. He had moments, sharp body shots, a couple of rights upstairs, but Crawford wasn't there to be bullied. He was dictating with his jab, snapping Canelo back just enough to reset him. By round 5, the script started flipping. Crawford's counters, laser sharp. Canelo's feet, a step behind. Round 7, that was Bud in full control. He stood his ground, traded just enough to win the respect, and then went back to making Canelo miss, making him chase. By rounds 9 and 10, the air in Allegiant Stadium shifted. You could see it. The invincible redhead looked human. Canelo's combinations broke down into single shots. Crawford's body work was paying off, and Bud, he was smiling, walking him into traps. Round 12 sealed it. Fans waited for Canelo to storm forward to summon that old fire. Instead, Crawford slammed the door shut. Outboxed him, outworked him, outclassed him. It wasn't a robbery. It wasn't a debate. It was clarity. You remember what I said in our video before this fight? Canelo doesn't look his best when he has to chase. When he can plant his feet and cut off the ring, he's lethal. But when he's forced to stalk, to follow, to hunt shadows, he gets exposed. Mayweather showed it, Bivol showed it, and tonight, Crawford turned it into a blueprint. From the jump, Bud refused to be stationary. He circled, pivoted, slid out the side door. Canelo kept trying to trap him, but every time he lunged, he got touched. Sharp jabs, crisp counters, clean rights down the pipe. By round 6, it was deja vu. Canelo stuck in quicksand. Crawford weaponizing movement, the hunter became the hunted. This wasn't about power, it wasn't about size, it was about IQ. Crawford made Canelo play the wrong game, and he beat him at it. Let's talk shop. Crawford's biggest weapon wasn't his hands, it was his brain. He timed Canelo's rhythm perfectly. He made him swing at air and then punished him for it. He used the jab not just to score points, but to manage distance. Canelo loves mid-range. Bud dragged him into long range and short bursts. Canelo's body shots, neutralized by Crawford's pivots and clinches. His power, blunted by defense and timing. By the late rounds, Canelo looked like he was throwing heavy shots into a void. Crawford had downloaded him, and once Bud downloads you, it's game over. This is the crowning jewel of Crawford's career. Undisputed at 135, 140, 147, and now 168 pounds. The first man in boxing history to do it. At 37 years old, 38 this month, He just beat the biggest name in the sport in convincing fashion. That's not just a win, that's immortality. So what's next? Maybe Benavidez, the fans want it. Maybe Charlo. Maybe he rides off into the sunset. Legacy untouchable. Whatever happens, Crawford has cemented his place in history. He's not just pound for pound number one. He's in the conversation for the greatest of this generation. Now let's be real. This doesn't erase Canelo's legacy. He's still one of the greatest of all time. But this fight, it showed cracks. Age, reflexes, footwork, they're not what they were 5 years ago. He couldn't cut off the ring. He couldn't sustain the body attack. He looked frustrated. And against a genius like Crawford, that's a death sentence. Canelo still got options. He could fight Benavidez. He could defend against the young lions at 168. But that aura of invincibility, Crawford stripped it away. Look, he is still Canelo. He is still one of the best fighters on the planet. But tonight, Crawford showed he was on another level. Here's the fun part. Crawford versus Benavidez, that's the dream fight now. Size versus skill, youth versus experience. Crawford versus Boots Ennis, if Bud ever drops down again, that's fireworks. Crawford versus Canelo 2, after tonight, not much appetite. Crawford's dominance killed the rematch talk before it could start. I'm not saying it won't happen. Money talks after all. I'm just saying there really is no need. Sometimes greatness doesn't just win. It closes doors. And Crawford, he shut them all tonight in a historic performance. In boxing, time is the only undefeated champion. Every legend, every monster, every pound-for-pound king eventually finds themselves on the wrong end of the clock. Tonight, Canelo Alvarez met that truth. Not because he wasn't great, he's been great for more than a decade, but because Terence Crawford is something rare. He's the man who walks into history not just to add his name, but to carve it deeper. Think about it. In the four-belt era, nobody else has been undisputed in 3 divisions. Nobody. That's rarefied air. The kind of company where the list of names gets so short, you start whispering it. Sugar Ray Robinson, Henry Armstrong, Roberto Duran. Fighters who dared to step up in weight, not just to survive, but to conquer. Crawford didn't just win another belt tonight. He didn't just beat another big name. He marched up 2 weight classes into a stadium filled with Canelo's people, into a division where the power should have crushed him, and he bent it to his will. He made one of the sport's most dominant champions look like he was chasing shadows. That's more than a victory. That's a rewriting of the boxing record books in real time. In an age where boxing too often feels like smoke and mirrors, Crawford gave us clarity, the truth, that skill, timing, and courage can still beat hype, size, and reputation. So yeah, tonight wasn't just a fight. It was a moment, a freezing of time. We got to witness Terence "Bud" Crawford step into the realm of the immortals, where names aren't just remembered, they're etched in stone. And decades from now, when people argue about who was the greatest of this era, tonight will be the night they point to. Because this wasn't Canelo's fall. This was Crawford's rise into forever. And with that, I'll call it. What a performance. I'm Reggie Cross for Behind the Lines. If you're feeling the vibe, hit that subscribe. Join me as we cut through the noise and get to the real heart of combat sports. Because here, we don't just watch fights, we understand them. And remember, hype fades, legacy don't. Peace. 745